They know, ever since they've been little, there's been this guy in the corner of the room going, water ski, water ski. And so they're used to me now.
Paul McCartney, one of the most influential musicians of all time, is known for his extraordinary career that spans several decades. As a key member of the Beatles, McCartney helped shape the sound of popular music in the 1960s and beyond. His work, both as a solo artist and in collaboration with other musicians, continues to resonate with generations of listeners. This report will provide an in-depth look at McCartney's life, career milestones, personal challenges, and his remarkable legacy in the world of music. Early life and musical beginnings. Born on June 18, 1942, in Liverpool, England, Paul McCartney grew up in a musically inclined family that set the stage for his future as one of the most celebrated musicians of all time. His father, James McCartney, was a trumpet player and a passionate fan of big band jazz, and his mother, Mary, was a nurse who played the piano. Despite the modesty of his family's means, music was a constant presence in young Paul's life. He was introduced to the piano early on by his mother and showed an interest in music from a very young age. At first, McCartney took up the trumpet, following in his father's footsteps, but soon switched to the guitar, a decision that would change the course of his life. He was heavily influenced by rock and roll, especially the music of Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, and Little Richard, which sparked a deep love for the genre. Paul would later say that these early influences would shape his musical style for years to come. The combination of a musical upbringing, a strong family bond, and a love of rock music gave McCartney the foundation for a career that would soon soar to unprecedented heights. Paul's early years were marked by a series of pivotal moments that led him toward his future. In his teenage years, he began performing with local bands, honing his skills as a guitarist and vocalist. He formed his first proper band, the Quarrymen, in 1957, a group that included John Lennon. Little did Paul know that this would be the beginning of a partnership that would change the face of music forever. As the group evolved into the Beatles, McCartney's role as a musician and later as a songwriter began to solidify. The Beatles, formation and rise to fame. The formation of the Beatles in the late 1950s marked the beginning of Paul McCartney's rise to global fame. In 1957, McCartney met John Lennon at a church festival in Liverpool, where Lennon was performing with his band, the Quarrymen. McCartney's skill on the guitar impressed Lennon, and the two began to form a strong musical partnership that would shape the future of popular music. By 1960, McCartney, Lennon, George Harrison, and drummer Pete Best had come together as the Beatles, a group that would revolutionize the music scene in the 1960s. They began playing in Liverpool and Hamburg, Germany, where they refined their live performances, developing a distinctive sound that blended rock and roll, pop, and rhythm and blues. It wasn't long before they caught the attention of manager Brian Epstein, who secured them a record deal with EMI in 1962. Pete Best was replaced by Ringo Starr, and the lineup was solidified. The Beatles' rise to fame in Britain began with their first hit single, Love Me Do, which was released in 1962. The song became an instant hit, and the group quickly became a sensation. By 1963, the Beatles were no longer just a Liverpool phenomenon. They were a nationwide sensation in Britain. Their infectious melodies, catchy lyrics, and harmonized vocals, combined with the dynamic stage presence of McCartney, Lennon, Harrison, and Starr, made them the most popular band in the country. The Beatles' breakthrough in America came in 1964 when they appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show, a performance that is often cited as one of the most significant moments in television history. The band's appearance sparked the British invasion of the American music scene, with the Beatles quickly becoming international superstars. McCartney, with his charismatic stage presence and charming personality, became a central figure of the band. His role as a bassist, vocalist, and one of the primary songwriters helped define the Beatles' sound, and his infectious optimism and charm made him a fan favorite. The Beatles' creative peak. Albums and musical evolution. The mid to late 1960s marked the Beatles' creative peak, and Paul McCartney was instrumental in shaping the band's evolving sound during this period. The band's albums during this time, such as Revolver, 1966, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 1967, and The White Album, 1968, are widely regarded as some of the most innovative and groundbreaking albums in the history of popular music. McCartney's songwriting during this period saw him experimenting with new musical techniques, instruments, and studio effects. One of his most famous songs, Yesterday, which was released in 1965 on Help, was a departure from the band's earlier, more energetic sound. The song featured a string quartet, marking one of the earliest uses of classical elements in popular music. This was just one example of McCartney's ability to push musical boundaries, and it showcased his versatility as a songwriter. Another significant moment in McCartney's musical evolution came with the release of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in 1967. The album is often cited as a masterpiece and a turning point in the history of rock music. McCartney's compositions, such as Penny Lane and With a Little Help from My Friends, were among the album's highlights, and his innovative use of studio techniques, such as tape loops and backward recordings, helped to expand the sonic possibilities of the album. Sgt. Pepper's is seen as an album that not only redefined what pop music could be, but also had a profound influence on music production. The White Album, 1968, continued McCartney's creative evolution, showcasing his ability to write in diverse styles, from the haunting ballad Yesterday to the experimental Helter Skelter. He began to take more control of the production and arrangements of his own songs, demonstrating his artistic maturity and expanding his musical range. Blackbird, one of McCartney's most beloved tracks, was written during this time and remains a testament to his ability to create powerful, emotionally resonant music with simple arrangements. McCartney's output during the Beatles' creative peak showed his ability to write some of the band's most memorable and enduring songs, and his versatility as a composer helped solidify the Beatles as one of the greatest bands in rock history. The Beatles' breakup and McCartney's solo career. The breakup of the Beatles in 1970 was a traumatic and difficult time for all of the band members. Personal tensions, business disagreements, and the growing desire for independence led to the dissolution of the band, and McCartney was particularly affected by the split. However, McCartney quickly channeled his emotions into his music, releasing his first solo album, McCartney, in 1970. The album was a reflection of McCartney's desire to assert his own artistic identity outside of the Beatles' shadow. Soon after, McCartney formed the band Wings, which would go on to become one of the most successful acts of the 1970s. Wings enjoyed commercial success, with hits such as Band on the Run, Live and Let Die, and Jet, all of which showcased McCartney's continuing ability to write catchy, memorable songs. Band on the Run, in particular, became one of McCartney's most iconic works, both in terms of its success and its experimental approach to songwriting and production. Despite the success of Wings, McCartney continued to evolve as an artist, pushing himself to explore new musical styles and ideas. He experimented with electronic music and collaborated with a wide range of artists across genres. His post-Beatles career, both as a solo artist and with Wings, solidified McCartney's reputation as one of the most successful and influential musicians in popular music history. Paul McCartney's impact on music and popular culture. Paul McCartney's impact on music and popular culture extends far beyond his work with the Beatles and his solo career. McCartney's songwriting, musicianship, and innovation helped shape the sound of popular music in the 1960s and beyond. He was one of the driving forces behind the Beatles' groundbreaking albums, and his work as a solo artist and with Wings has continued to influence generations of musicians. McCartney is widely recognized for his ability to experiment with different genres and musical techniques. Whether he was incorporating classical elements into his songs, experimenting with synthesizers, or collaborating with artists from a wide range of genres, McCartney's musical versatility has made him one of the most influential figures in the history of popular music. His ability to adapt to new styles and his constant desire to push the boundaries of music have made him a respected figure in the music world. In addition to his musical contributions, McCartney has used his platform to advocate for social and political causes, particularly through his work with his late wife, Linda Eastman, on animal rights and environmental issues. McCartney's activism, combined with his musical legacy, has solidified his status as a cultural icon. Personal life, family, and relationships. Paul McCartney's personal life has often been a subject of media attention. McCartney married Linda Eastman in 1969, and their partnership became one of the most famous and enduring in rock history. Together, they shared a passion for activism, particularly in the area of animal rights. Linda's untimely death from breast cancer in 1998 was a devastating loss for McCartney, and he has often spoken about how her passing affected him both personally and professionally. McCartney's subsequent marriages and relationships have also been widely covered in the media, but he has continued to maintain a strong focus on his music and his legacy. His experiences with love, loss, and family have deeply influenced his songwriting, with many of his most poignant songs reflecting his personal journey. Paul McCartney's personal life, marked by the joys of family, the pain of loss, and his enduring love of music, has shaped both his public image and his artistic output. It is clear that McCartney's ability to channel his emotions into his music, combined with his unparalleled songwriting talent, has been a significant factor in his continued success and enduring legacy. Health struggles and challenges. Throughout his long and illustrious career, Paul McCartney has faced a range of personal challenges, both physical and emotional, that have tested his resilience. One of the most significant events in his life was the tragic death of his first wife, Linda Eastman, from breast cancer in 1998. Linda had been a constant presence in McCartney's life, both as a partner and as a fellow activist, particularly in the areas of animal rights and environmental issues. Her passing deeply affected McCartney, and he has openly spoken about how it led to a period of emotional struggle. This loss came after McCartney had already experienced several other health-related difficulties. In 2005, McCartney was reported to have had surgery after being diagnosed with a condition that required attention, though the specifics were not widely publicized. Additionally, McCartney has openly discussed the challenges of maintaining his health in the face of aging. As one of the most visible musicians in the world, McCartney's physical and mental well-being has often been scrutinized by the public, particularly as he reached his later years. Despite these challenges, McCartney has remained active, both in his music and in his day-to-day life. He has emphasized the importance of physical fitness and has continued to perform with vigor, delivering energetic performances well into his 70s and 80s. McCartney's commitment to staying active in both his physical and mental health has been crucial to his longevity, not only as a musician but also as a public figure. His ability to remain positive and focused in the face of adversity is a testament to his resilience. rumours, controversies, and public speculation. As one of the most famous figures in music, McCartney has long been the subject of rumours, controversies, and public speculation. Among the most infamous is the Paul is dead conspiracy theory that began in 1967. The theory, which suggested that McCartney had died in a car accident and was secretly replaced by a lookalike, became one of the most enduring urban legends in pop culture. The rumours spread rapidly, particularly in the United States, fueled by supposed clues in Beatles songs and album covers. McCartney addressed the speculation with humour, even using it to promote his work, most notably in his 1993 album Paul is Live, which humorously referenced the myth. While the Paul is dead conspiracy has long been debunked, it remains one of the most peculiar moments in McCartney's public life. In addition to this bizarre conspiracy, McCartney has faced other controversies throughout his career. He has been an outspoken advocate for various political and social causes, including animal rights, environmental protection, and peace. His strong stance on issues like vegetarianism and opposition to factory farming has sometimes led to criticism, particularly from those who disagree with his political and social views. McCartney's outspoken nature has led to public misunderstandings, but he has consistently used his platform to advocate for change and inspire action. McCartney has also dealt with controversies related to his personal life, particularly during his divorce from Heather Mills in 2008. The media coverage of the divorce was intense, with both McCartney and Mills facing harsh scrutiny. McCartney's ability to navigate public controversies with grace, despite the personal pain, has shown his strength and dedication to maintaining his public image. Over time, he has largely emerged from these controversies with his reputation intact, continuing to focus on his music and activism. McCartney's enduring influence on music and society. Even after more than 6 decades in the music industry, Paul McCartney's influence continues to resonate across generations. His career has transcended musical genres, influencing not only the rock and pop world, but also the broader landscape of music. As a member of the Beatles, McCartney helped define the modern music industry, and as a solo artist, he has continued to shape the evolution of popular music. One of McCartney's most significant contributions is his role in pushing the boundaries of music production and songwriting. His work with the Beatles revolutionized the studio process, particularly with albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which utilized pioneering techniques in multi-tracking and studio manipulation. Even as the music industry has undergone significant changes in the digital age, McCartney has continued to experiment with new technologies, embracing modern production tools and techniques. In addition to his musical legacy, McCartney has played an influential role in the wider culture. His activism has had a lasting impact on social issues, particularly in the areas of animal rights and environmentalism. He has been an outspoken advocate for vegetarianism, using his platform to support organizations like PETA and to encourage a more ethical and sustainable lifestyle. His dedication to animal rights has made him a central figure in the movement, and he continues to advocate for causes close to his heart. McCartney's involvement in political and social causes has extended beyond just animal rights. He has used his influence to speak out on issues such as peace, climate change, and human rights. His work in these areas, coupled with his immense musical legacy, solidifies his role as an artist whose influence extends far beyond music. McCartney's continued success, recent projects and performances. Despite his advanced age, McCartney remains an active performer and recording artist. In recent years, McCartney has continued to release new albums, including Egypt Station, 2018, and McCartney 3, 2020, which received critical acclaim and commercial success. His albums have demonstrated that McCartney remains a force in contemporary music, continuing to explore new sounds and styles while staying true to his roots. In addition to his solo work, McCartney has remained a prominent figure on the live music scene. His tours are legendary, with McCartney continuing to perform for sold-out audiences worldwide. His ability to engage with fans and deliver high-energy performances, even as he enters his 80s, is a testament to his enduring appeal. McCartney's tours are a celebration of his vast musical catalogue, and his performances are often accompanied by moments of reflection on his long and storied career. McCartney has also embraced modern technologies, adapting to the digital age with virtual performances, social media engagement, and the use of streaming platforms. He has shown a willingness to experiment with new formats for sharing his music and connecting with his fan base, ensuring that his presence in the modern music scene remains relevant. Philanthropy and activism. McCartney's social contributions. Throughout his career, Paul McCartney has used his platform to promote social causes that are deeply important to him. Perhaps most notably, McCartney is a staunch advocate for animal rights. His commitment to vegetarianism, which began in the 1970s, has led him to become one of the most prominent figures in the fight against animal cruelty. He has worked closely with organizations like PETA and has been vocal about his opposition to factory farming, using his celebrity status to raise awareness about the ethical treatment of animals. McCartney's activism extends beyond animal rights. He has long been an advocate for environmental sustainability, supporting efforts to combat climate change and preserve the planet. His involvement in campaigns such as Meat-Free Monday encourages individuals to reduce their environmental impact by cutting down on meat consumption. McCartney's willingness to engage with environmental and social issues has made him a respected figure in activism, and his ability to merge his musical career with his philanthropic work has inspired countless others to use their voices for good. The legacy of Paul McCartney, a musical icon. Paul McCartney's legacy as a musician, composer, and cultural icon is unparalleled. Over the course of his career, he has defined the sound of popular music and helped shape the modern music industry. As a member of the Beatles, McCartney wrote some of the most iconic songs in music history, songs that have continued to influence generations of musicians. His success as a solo artist, coupled with his work with Wings, solidifies his place as one of the greatest musicians of all time. McCartney's influence is not limited to music. His activism, charitable work, and cultural impact make him a multifaceted figure whose contributions have had far-reaching consequences. He has been a trailblazer in terms of his musical experimentation, and his legacy continues to inspire artists across genres. In the realm of popular culture, McCartney has become an icon, admired for his resilience, creativity, and ability to adapt to changing times. Conclusion: Paul McCartney's everlasting impact. Paul McCartney's influence on music, culture, and society is immeasurable. From his early days in the Beatles to his continued success as a solo artist, McCartney's legacy is one of constant innovation, excellence, and activism. His music continues to inspire new generations, while his activism has left an indelible mark on the world. McCartney's ability to evolve as both an artist and a human being ensures that his legacy will endure for generations to come, and he will always be remembered as one of the greatest and most influential figures in the history of music.